The first thing you get after you get your sawmill, or before you get your sawmill, is some way to move or haul logs. And the question always comes up, what is the best tool for the job? Should you get a tractor? Should you get a skid steer? Should you get a compact track loader? Should you get a telehandler? Should you go all out and actually get a true wheel loader? And it really depends on your situation. If you want to be a full-time sawmiller and you want to just have a sawmill, then yeah, you need like a articulated wheel loader or even a telehandler. By the same token, you're not going to run a bush hog with a telehandler. It doesn't happen. You're not going to run a mulcher with, or a plow. And typically the first machine you're going to get is going to be kind of a do-all of everything. You know, if you've got some property or something, it's probably going to be some type of four-wheel drive tractor. It's going to have a front end loader on it. Of course, you'll have a PTO, so you can work around the farm where you can drill post holes, you can bush hog, you can do things. Some folks will then take that 3-point hitch and then put a set of forks on the back of that. And then you got a front end loader on the front, maybe a set of forks on the back. And that works fine. Typically what you find out is that the machine is not heavy duty enough, and then you start buying other stuff. That's pretty much what we did. We started out with a tractor, and then finally we moved up and contracted with New Holland to build Old Blue. And it is a beast. There was only one other machine like it in the United States when it was delivered. Before long, we decided, okay, now we got this going. Now we probably need to get something else, and we need to get something else. And some of you folks will notice that we run a Caterpillar forklift. I thought I needed a big telehandler, but it just didn't seem to fit our bills. So I called up my local Caterpillar dealership and said, y'all send a guy out here. Says, I don't know what I need. I got money. I don't know what I need. I got enough money to buy one thing. I'm not going to buy two anymore. And I got a tractor. What do I need? So they did. They sent a guy out. He walked around. He watched us do our stuff. And he says, last thing you need is a telehandler. He says, what you need is a forklift, a really fast, a hard tire warehouse forklift. And that's where our Caterpillar came in. It's a Cat P5000. It was originally, or this model is what's used to do a lot of the heavy, fast loading dock work. Like he said, it's typically the ones used to load and unload cruise ships. I mean, it's got to be fast, it's got to be nimble, it's got to be stupid strong. And then we also still felt the need that we needed some basic dirt work done. That's where we ended up getting a Kubota compact track loader. And the reason we did that is because it can also run a mulching head, and it is a beast. So now we have 3 machines. I'm not going to try to tell you what you need to get. Only you're going to know what you need to get. And if I start telling you, you need to get this, or you need to get that, or you need to get, man, we're going to have all kinds of trolls commenting, oh, you don't know what you're doing, or blah, 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 or you need to get this, or you need to get that brand. I ain't up for that. I've seen that too many times on forums and other kinds of things, and I'm not getting into that. I'm going to tell you what we use, and as I'm going through the video, I'm going to explain why we're using it, or I'm going to show why we're using it and some of the advantages and disadvantages of why we're using it. And it's possible, it's likely even, that you'll look at it and go, hey, that's exactly why I don't want what he's using. That's cool. I'm trying to help you out. I'm not trying to shove a piece of machinery down your throat. I'm not a machinery salesman. Typically, we run forks on all 3 of our machines because we're moving a lot of wood. Every machine has a primary duty, and it also has to serve the sawmill and the lumber yards. Hopefully, it'll help y'all make a decision if you're going to buy something, or it may help you make a decision not to buy something. So we've got 3 machines with forks. Got the compact track loader, old Blue, and the cat. And Chip can run all of them, can't you, Chip? Yeah, boss, you let me know. Old Blue is a custom-made tractor. It was built for us by New Holland, but Old Blue has got about twice the lifting power of most tractors. And we got it just for this kind of stuff. But like farm implements, it does not have the touch. Old Blue, don't get mad at me, Old Blue. Old Blue does not have the touch of either a compact track loader or not even close to that of a forklift. But there are some things it does really well, and that is it can drive around on your ground and not tear it up, which a track loader will destroy. That's one thing that they do really well, is they destroy your property. One thing about most tractors with front end loaders that nobody tells you, and it's one reason I have an air adjust seat, is that when you're picking stuff up, if you'll notice from this vantage point, you can't see the forks. They're gone. Sometimes you almost have to do it by feel. You can't see them. So, like this tractor has an air ride button, so I can push this button and it will adjust my seat height. Look, I'm going up. See, now I can see my forks. Say it is a tractor, so it's not overly delicate, but over a period of time you kind of get a feel for it. Very strong though. Old Blue's a beast. Man, you can feel that thing was stuck down to the ground and frozen solid in the ice. Tractors are normally going to run off a single joystick. People keep getting confused about which way to move a joystick. You know, do you pull it back? Is it supposed to go down, up, left? Because you got 4 functions on one joystick. Basically where this thing is it's set up kind of like your hand upside down. So if you pull back to you, forks go up. If you open your hand or push away, it drops. If you try to pull in with your hand, it curls. And if you try to push out, then it drops. Basically, as you're trying to pull your hand towards your body in that movement or that movement, the joystick's going to do the same thing. If you'll remember that, you'll never mix it up again. Guaranteed. Pretty much. You know how you know a greenhorn loader operator from somebody who's done it once or twice? Is you always carry your load as low as possible. I don't care how much it weighs or any of that stuff, because you'll see people all the time and they're carrying stuff way up here, so they can see. It's incredibly dangerous. You do not do that. Not to mention it raises your center of gravity really high. You just don't do that. You always, after you do a successful lift, you always drop your load to where it's almost touching the ground. And that way, if you start to tip or flip or something, the load contacts the ground first, and it changes your center of gravity, and you won't flip over. And I don't think anybody likes to flip over. The other thing about riding in a wheeled vehicle is it's much smoother than riding in a tracked vehicle. And then of course riding on one that's got air on its tires is a whole lot smoother. So one of the real nice things about a front end loader, it's got a long reach. I mean, if you can see the loader arms are extended way out there. There's a safety thing involved. Stuff's not quite in your face. Also allows you to reach over things. So like, see right there, that metal plate is one of our wells. So the last thing I want to do is drive a big piece of heavy equipment and land right on top of my well cover. The cool thing is with the reach of a tractor or front end loader, I'm not even close to it. Sometimes you just need long forks too. These things really pay off. It's when you're loading a truck from the end. Most of the times you want a truck you can side load, but with these guys, sometimes you just get a load that a semi brings you, or you got to put on, it's got to go on from the end. So you got to load it long ways, and your forks aren't long enough. Like this big old load right here, you got to get under them, put them forks all the way to the front. Again, this is the difference between a forklift. It's designed to do warehouse work. Forklifts are delicate, very precise. It's like that. See, now I'm able to load this, pick this whole load up by the end. And you don't really like carrying long forks all the time, because if you're mostly doing 4-foot pallets, you're gonna have a tendency to spear the pallet, spear the wall, spear anything behind you, because you're just not really, you don't need that extra 2 foot. So we're gonna put this over here out of the way, just like that. See how delicate? Look at that. Sweet. This is why you have a forklift. Look how tight I can maneuver here. I'm still on this little piece of asphalt. Concrete. All right, let's back out. They're held on by this little strap right here, right there. All you have to do, lift it up. Slide it out a good bit. Slide them under nice and slow. That. Back out. Go nice and slow to not mess my racks up. And the extensions are off. Seriously, how easy is that? gonna try to get under this somehow, and let's lift it under between the cardboard and the mahogany. So this is our forklift. It's a Cat P5000 hard tire or solid tire. It's really a nice forklift, 3-stage mast. It goes up, I don't know, about 12, 15 feet. Goes up a long way, I don't know exactly. Side shift, so you can pull a lever. The cage goes sideways, tilts back, of course. Full lights, great machine. And we could not work without it. Unlike most front-end loaders or tractors that have forks, if you specify it, like this one, it has what are called dagger tips or lumber tips. And basically what happens is they polish the forks down to a really tight, sharp point. You can see how sharp they are. And that allows you to go into lumber packs with ease for moving stuff in our building and warehouse, where we can go up and do anything with it. Those are a necessity. And this is what a forklift is really good at. Weaving in and out all this stuff, trying not to hit anything. At least trying. There's no way you can do this with a tractor. Really no way you can do this with a skid steer or a track loader. And the key is you can do it without tearing your concrete up too. Very easy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a quick turn. It's like that. I would say Chip did a good job of driving right there, don't you? Good job, Chip. He is good on a forklift. It actually kind of bores him, he's so good. You could probably come this way about 3 inches forward.
What, forward?
Yeah, just a hair. Right there. Yeah, that was better. There we go. She can thread a needle with that forklift. If we ever get divorced, she's probably gonna take it. So one thing for sure, one of the main differences between a track loader, skid steer, or tractor or forklift is the bucket. Now, the bucket that a skid steer or track loader will handle is twice the bucket that a tractor will handle, even old Big Blue. So this is a CA4 Extreme Duty. It's a beast. It's one a lot of the big contractors run. It's got cutting edges front, back. It'll bulldoze, it'll clamp, it'll shear. This thing will crack rocks. If you've seen some of my videos, you've seen me do it. And skid steers or track loaders, they're set up to run buckets like that. Here on the Kubota, it's got multiple hydraulic taps, low flow, high flow. Very, very well built for this type of a thing. There's a big difference when you're running forks too. So most track loaders or skid steers, I'm just gonna start calling them skid steers, whether it's got tracks on or not. I'm tired of having to say it all at the same time. Most have their access from the front. There is one that has access from the side. I don't much care for it because it kind of unbalances it a little bit. You have to climb into the machine. Now, once you're inside, some of them are really spacious. This one, the Kubota's got a lot of room. The fork cage is even set up so you step through the forks to get in. That means if you've got a big load of something, logs, lumber, whatever, and you try to get out of this thing, you're gonna have to stand. You have to walk from the front door over the load to the ground. And if the load's up high or off the ground, which we do a lot, like if you're bucking logs or stuff like that, you're having to step on the log that's off the ground and step in. And that's just not good. Or you try to step in the middle here. I had a buddy do that one time. He stepped right in there and he got his ankle broken. It was bad. The Kubota is cool because it opens up and in, which means if you got to get out, you can get out. Quite a few of them have doors that swing out, which means if you got a load here, you literally cannot get out. They have an escape hatch on the back window, a little thing for breaking it. Now, I'm not a big fan of that at all. I'm too old to be crawling out of the back window. Skid steers have front access, and that is a huge disadvantage at the lumber yard unless your whole day is driving around and not getting in and out. If you are getting in and out, especially if it's loaded, you got a real problem. So for example, if I was lifting this load of wood with a skid steer, or that load of wood with a skid steer, or those loads of wood with a skid steer, I couldn't get out without worming them way out and climbing on top of everything, and I'm not into that. Tractors have side doors. Look, it's like getting in and out of a car. It's wonderful. Do you want to know what I can do in my tractor that I cannot do in my skid steer easily? This. I've got the load up, I've got a pack of wood. I would not be able to get out of the front of my skid steer and leave the pack suspended. I could do this with my forklift, but it's so muddy through here it would get stuck within 3 feet of getting off the road. So, I mean, one of the things I don't like about tractors is they are so unmaneuverable. They're not that fast. I mean, they do their thing. Compared to a track loader, skid steer, or a forklift, tractors maneuver slow. They don't do anything fast. Skid steers will move in and out in a heartbeat. For example, I gotta take this turn, pick up this pallet. I cannot hit my generator, cannot hit my propane tank. It's a tight turn. It's typically what we do with our forklift, and it's almost impossible for me to do this in one try with my tractor. Gotta pull up, I gotta back up, I got to get a better angle. Got to not back into anything. Try it again. Get my forks up. I'm going to try to pick up 3 pallets. So you actually got to approach with your forks in a position that you can see them, like right there, right between the cage bars. Visibility is an issue, and slow maneuverability is an issue with my Caterpillar forklift. I would have been long gone by now. You might ask, well, why am I doing it over here? Well, the tracks on that track loader, like bulldozers, if I was to get out here in the grass or this soft, that we just had a lot of rain and snow, if I was out here to get on my grass, I would have absolutely destroyed it. You can see where I've just barely leave impressions here with the tractor. So as far as ground damage goes, a tractor is much softer on your ground than a track loader or a skid steer. When I am moving big logs, or I need to move heavy logs, I'm not using old blue. I'm using the track loader. It's much more stable than a tractor, simply because a tractor has air in the tires and they'll flatten down. A track loader will not, and neither will a forklift. So lifting stability definitely goes to the track loader in rough terrain. Hey folks, I hope this video was useful to you. It's kind of off what we normally do, but I thought it was important to do since we are a business that has 3 different kinds of machines that all have forks on them, and you can see what we use them for. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos.